Hello, it's Tom Donald from the London Contemporary School of Piano. Today I'm going to show you how to use sus chords on the piano. So what is a sus chord? Sus chords really create so much tension in the music, such a positive tension in the music as well. I'm going to show you how to practice them, how to use them, and how to really enjoy them. And by the way, if you're a fan of our work at the London Contemporary School of Piano, you should head on over to our website and claim your free resources kit, which accompany many of these YouTube videos, including this one. We have a fantastic bunch of exercises that will support your suspended chord playing. So just make sure you get that, just to help your practice. So generally, there are two types of suspended chords we most likely to see in music, and we can play when we are improvising and reharmonizing as well. And that is the suspended second chord and the suspended fourth chord. So let's just clarify what they are. So this is a C suspended 2, and it's like I'm playing a C major chord, but rather than me playing the third note, I'm playing the second note. It's 1, 2, 5 of the scale. So it's a 1, 2, 5 shape. And you can hear that it probably wants to push up and resolve, but it doesn't necessarily have to resolve. That's what we're going to be looking at today. But by nature, you can sort of hear that it's sort of wanting to resolve upwards. And you can practice this on all of your other major chords. To get used to that. And of course, you have a tone between the root note and the second note. It's a full whole tone. So just be careful of that when you're in those other keys. Make sure you know that step is there. So you could also play a sus2 resolve into a minor chord. It's got a very different sound to it, doesn't it? And there's also the suspended fourth chord, which is this one. You can really hear the suspended fourth, so we're using notes 1, 4, and 5 from the scale. It's very hymnal, you know, it's your Amen, na, na. So you can practice doing this. Suspended fourth to resolve, suspended 2, and resolve. Good for the fingers as well. Really good for your finger independence to do that. And you can practice this on different chords. And of course, you can also practice it in a minor key. Which brings me to a great example. Can you recognize this song? That's Queen, The Show Must Go On. You've got that lovely suspended fourth going to the minor, suspended second, going to the minor, with a bass change to the A flat, while those same chords continue. So that's a nice little example you can practice. So now let's put the suspended chords into practice. And this is a really simple exercise you can do in any key. I'll show you an easy one in C major first. You just get a suspended second or a suspended fourth, but we're going to start with the suspended second. It's particularly nice for this exercise. And all we do in the bass is we walk up the scale, but you keep the same suspended second chord ringing over the top. So it's like now, with these different notes in the bass, it's like we're creating a suspended effect by having different bass notes. So it's like a suspended note on a suspended note. It's adding dissonance to an existing dissonance. And because it's all in the same scale, it sounds great. So you can really play around with that. And you can change the bass line. You don't just have to walk up the scale. I could do something like this. I'll tell you a funny story. I taught this trick when I was a teenager to a friend of mine. He's a very talented actor, he was, and I showed it to him and suspended seconds, and he wanted basically to learn a couple of nice chords to woo a girl he liked at school. So I showed him this little suspended chord trick. I said, oh, you could write her a song or do something like that. And I showed him this in like 5 minutes. And then, so he has his girlfriend, he writes this nice song for her, puts some words on there. You're so beautiful. I don't know, something cheesy. And then by the time he's on to his next girlfriend, he's writing another song with suspended chords. It almost does exactly the same thing. And I said, isn't that the same song you wrote for the last one? He goes, oh no, I changed the order a little bit. It's a formula you can rinse and repeat, and it's a really good thing you can put into different keys. So you've got like, let's go to the key of D flat major here. We're going to do the same thing. This is such a great way to practice your scales, right? You just walk up the scale, keeping that suspended seconds, just ringing over the top. Do this in all of the keys. And if you want a little bit more movement, you can arpeggiate the suspended second chord as well. And you can mix around the notes in the left hand. You don't just have to walk up and down the scale. You can move the notes around. Sort of sounds like I know what I'm doing, right? And it's not that difficult to practice. So we have a nice lead sheet of these chords written out for your further reference. So do visit our website, contemporaryschoolofpiano.com, to claim the free resources kit, because the suspended exercises are in there, including some of the ones we've just been practicing. So now let's get a song. Let's get a piece of music. And a piece of music I particularly like playing around with suspended chords is Pachelbel's Canon. It's an old classic piece of music, but it's got a very recognizable progression. So let's say, for instance, traditionally the piece is in D major, and it uses chords 1, chord 5, 6, 3, 4, 1, 4, 5. And it's got those nice rounded classical triads. But we're going to modernize it with these unresolved suspended chords. So you can do things like this. And that's the great thing about suspended chords, is they have a very similar quality to each other. So whether it's a D suspended second or a G suspended second, I can use that in the right hand but have different bass notes playing. You can try different options. You'll find they'll often sound very similar to each other anyway. One thing I particularly love is playing a suspended second and having the third in the bass. That to me is one of my favorite sounds on the piano. I could do that all day, right? That's one I really like. And the suspended fourth, because it's a bit more traditional, you would have noticed I'm using that a little bit less, but you can use it still. And often the suspended fourth will interestingly be an inversion of a suspended second. I don't want to get overly theoretical, but have a look at this. This is a really cool relationship. Here's a suspended fourth, D, G and A. Now if I invert that by taking the D up an octave, I'm playing also a G suspended second. So suspended fourths and seconds are very connected and interchangeable for that reason. There's only so many notes in a scale and in an octave, so often these chords will have relationships with each other, and that's why they sort of all start to sound the same after a while, like in a good way. So let me play around a little bit with that Pachelbel Canon a little bit more. We'll go to F major now. Back to D major. And suspended chords are great to just arpeggiate around as well. Really effective for that. So I hope this video today just gives you a bit more confidence to explore some of these chords. And they're chords that you can just add, even irrespective to the music telling you to add them. If you're playing off a lead sheet and there's just lots of triads everywhere, and it's starting to feel a little bit square, just throw in a couple of suspended second chords. It just gives your playing a new dimension, and you can always drill through these exercises by going to our website, contemporaryschoolpiano.com, and asking for our free resources kit. It's going to help you with all of these things, help you get better at piano, help you enjoy piano more. It's been a pleasure seeing you today and speaking with you, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thank you.